Welcome to TOOP TV's newest segment, Fireside Chat. The original Fireside Chat was a regular radio show used by presidents to inform the public of the latest issues. It originated in 1933 and ran until 1944. But now the Fireside Chat is back and we're using it to tell you about the latest real estate issues. It's uninterrupted interviews with the experts in the know. So sit back, relax and enjoy Fireside Chat.
Good afternoon everybody and welcome to Fireside Chat. With me this afternoon, I'm very privileged to have Tim Heavyside, Director and Auctioneer of Fletcher's Real Estate in Melbourne. Tim's just taken out the biggest award you can take in real estate as a salesperson and won the National Award. We were all there together a few weeks ago on the Gold Coast and I've asked him to join me today. So welcome Tim.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a big thrill to have you in Adelaide, visiting our offices today. So I just want to get into, about you and what makes you tick, of course, and get some ideas from you what's going on in Victoria compared to what's going on in South Australia.
Sure.
So to get started, Sales Partner of the Year, what a great accolade, but that doesn't come easy.
It doesn't. We're quite privileged to be working in conjunction with a company such as Fletcher's. So it doesn't come as an individual award. I also share that, I guess, as a company award, because without the company, you can only go so far.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about you and how you work. Do you work as a solo person out there in the field? Do you have a team working with you? How does that work for you?
I work in a team, in a structure called an EBU, an Effective Business Unit. And I guess the best way to look at it, if we're a band, my little individual team, I might be the lead singer of the band, but I'm certainly not the main player. I play a certain part. To that, I have a business manager, a buyer manager, and or a buyer agent, a cadet, and someone that looks after my personal marketing.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. One of five.
Okay.
One of five. Yeah.
So how do you get that across to your consumer? I mean, the consumer today is listing with a person.
Yes.
Often the company will get you in the door.
Yep.
Absolutely. But the consumer wants to know that you are the person who's going to list and sell my house. How do you explain your team and what they do so your client understands that you're dealing with me, Tim Heavyside?
Well, two things. One is that you can't be everywhere at once. So there'll be certain properties I'll be able to allocate that I will be open for inspections and provide that due diligence, and other opportunities where I won't be able to. And as long as you explain that at the start and go through that properly with the vendor or potential vendor, they're okay with it.
Okay, so it's just the right communication.
It is just communicating that correctly to the vendor, that if you're dealing with Jennifer Allett or Bianca Dabb or Clara Maruzzi or Anna O'Malley, it's just like dealing with me, because we work in a unit. So some agents, they're just solely looking after marketing and they're looking after the buyers, they're looking after all these different roles, but really not being effective in everything to their maximum, whereas I just look after my specific role, and Jennifer's great in her role, and Bianca's great in her role, and so on.
So you've actually broken down the role of a salesperson into the components.
Yes.
And matched the skill to that component.
That's
Would that
right.
be correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But having said that, we haven't reinvented the wheel in doing this. This is what other agents are doing as well.
Okay.
But it's certainly working.
So have you ever had a client who says, well, no, I'm not happy with that?
Yeah, sure. And from time to time, and they may say they might be a bit more challenging and suggest that, look, I really just want to deal with you, or and sometimes it can be the other way around. I really prefer to deal with Jen. Yeah. Or I want to talk to Bianca. So that can be part of it as well.
So you can't allow your ego to get in the way?
Totally not. No. If you keep your feet on the ground and shoot for the stars. Someone told me that once.
Well, you certainly have. So congratulations on your great win.
Thank you.
I'm hopefully I can get it back off you if you bring it to South Australia next year.
Well, you've got a lot of top agents that work at TOOP+TOOP, and there's a good synergy between the companies, so I think we can learn a lot from each other.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Melbourne and Melbourne real estate. We've had discussions off air about the current state of the market here in South Australia.
Yeah.
It's certainly not all doom and gloom, but we're in a tight marketplace, and you've got to buy and sell in the same way.
Yes.
Tell us about what's going on in Melbourne at the present moment.
Some people ask me about the real estate market, and I think a very good way of explaining that, you can just say, look, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. and that can be whatever you want it to be. But at the moment, I'd say that Melbourne market is holding up a little stronger than the Adelaide market based on our conversation off air. And in a tougher market, as you're experiencing, or a tighter market, that's when you really need a top real estate performer to act for you. And so you've got companies such as TOOP+TOOP or Fletcher's. That's where you gravitate towards a better known agent with a thorough reputation that's going to get the job done.
Do you think that the real estate market moves in cycles? So, you know, a lot of things move in, you know, the ups and downs of that in a cycle. I think we're in about a 7-year cycle. Would you see that as being right? We've come out of a boom period a few years ago.
Yes.
Do you think that that's the way we're going right now with the real estate market?
I do. And it'll come out. It'll come out. And at the moment, it's all focused on selling properties, and then it'll become focused on listing properties. Listings will get very tight again, and it'll be about that. But in a tougher market, or a tighter market, or a market that's a bit more challenged, it's all about securing the sale and getting through the negotiation period. But you'll come out of it, and it is one big cycle. So to answer your question, it'll come out, I think, pretty soon.
So what's the biggest challenge, do you believe, in a tightening marketplace for the consumer?
I think that their agent is doing everything that they can to make sure that the buyers are effectively communicated with, and that their agent is constantly feeding that information back to them so that they can get price right. And in a tougher market, there's only 3 reasons why a property won't sell. One is it's associated with price, and get the price right, and that generally fixes everything. The second is marketing. Now, whether or not the marketing is correct, such as you've got the method of the sale right, you've got the quote guide to the buyers right, you've got the actual advertising right, and you've got the right exposure for that agent in that sense of community. So just price, marketing, exposure, and the method of sale. So all those 4 things in marketing got to be right. So it might be just tweaking the marketing, such as bulking up the advertising, making sure that the buyers out there are getting to see your property in its best light. So if a home has a view, a terrific kitchen, lovely facade, and a big sized backyard, we'll show all four forums in perhaps a local paper rather than just one external. There's not enough depth in the advertising. So that might be one reason. So just to recap, you've got number 1 is price, number 2 marketing, or the third is there might be just something wrong with the property. As in, look, there's a child centre being built next door, or you've got a freeway extension or something like that. But you find that doesn't happen very often. So it's just one of those first 2 things, getting price right and marketing.
I think it comes down to the price. So if you know there's the childcare centre or a freeway coming past, it's always priced accordingly.
It is.
You know, take that into account. It's an interesting time, I think, for all of us at the moment, you know, and it's trying to keep the positive amongst that, but just buying and selling in the one marketplace. You know, if you've got your property on the market today and you're going to buy in that same period, you don't lose.
That's right. Even if the market was to alter, say 5%, but you were to buy and sell in that same market, you won't really get stung. So if what you have to accept now, and that I don't say be happy with, but be acceptance of that figure, just to move forward, so that way when you go to buy, or let's say you've bought and you go to sell and you have to accept the market, well, you've probably bought at a reasonable level, and if you're selling, you're going to buy at a reasonable level. So just take that into consideration.
Yeah, I know, and it's just getting our clients in the right mindset. You know, we're there to work for them, we take their instruction, but it's getting them in the right mindset so they don't miss the marketplace, which can often happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
An opportunity, just like a window of opportunity. The window like comes open, then it closes again. So you've got a small window of opportunity with a buyer, and sometimes you just got to grab that window.
Well, we're going to keep all those windows open so we can. You know, what are some of the challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis? I think it's pretty much the same for every real estate practitioner. You know, they face lots of challenges on a day-to-day basis, but in particular, what would be some of your challenges that you have to sort of get over each day?
An individual challenge is time and being efficient with time. Whereas previously, when I first got into the industry, going back 9 years now, it was all about building a brand and getting the ball rolling in terms of listings and getting some sort of income happening. But nowadays it's because I always use the analogy, it's a bit like a boulder when you first start. You've got this massive boulder, and that's real estate, and you've got to push this boulder to get the first listing, get a property sold, and after a while that actual boulder will start to move by itself, and that's what real estate is like, that, getting a bit of momentum. Then my challenges at the moment is that boulder's moving along momentum, it's just being efficient with time. So a lot of my day is consumed with, say, video tours on properties, listings, market appraisals, interacting within the sales team, a bit of mentoring, and just making sure that the time is used appropriately. Yeah, that's the most.
Yeah, I think we're all very much time challenged in everyday life. It's just finding enough time for
that's
most
the
things.
same for anybody,
Yeah,
and
is,
it's striking a balance too.
Yeah.
So I'm married with 2 children. They're aged 7 and 9, and I'm trying to be a dad and a husband, and trying to be a good sort of team member within my EBU, and I'm trying to be an effective director within the actual team. So you're just sort of trying to you're always just stretching yourself all the time, making sure you're always being there for everybody.
Let me know when you get that right, shall you?
I don't think we will.